Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Monday, June the 9th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, happy belated birthday. I'm sure a lot of you already wished him happy birthday. My co-founder of the show, my colleague, co-host, whatever phrase you, whatever tag you want to give him. He was his birthday yesterday, so we wish him happy birthday. He will be with us tonight on the Betcast tonight, so looking forward to that, of course. Ian Cameron, Perlo. We've got Oscar Froberg, our friend from Sweden, back with us, and a first-time debuting guest, and probably not the last time. In fact, might be on a lot with us in the future. He's a very serious sports bettor, former college player as well, Michigan, Miami, Ohio, in the college ranks, and now first time on the Ice Guys show today, Jack Olmstead. Jack, I'll just throw it to you first since it's your first time on the show. Glad to have you, and how are things going?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it. I've listened to the show a few times and love everything about it. What a series so far, and I'm sure we'll talk about that quite a bit. But yeah, just thanks for having me on, and looking forward to it.
Cliff notes of your hockey background. Go for it. What was yours?
Yeah, I grew up in Michigan, just played around the Michigan area, Detroit area for Little Caesars and a couple teams, and then ended up playing juniors in Pennsylvania. And then I got to play at Michigan for a couple of years, University of Michigan, with some pretty special people and players, and ended up transferring. Just as we were so good, ended up transferring to Miami, Ohio, and finished up there. And did a few years of pro. I had one in Sweden actually, and then one in Germany. So, and now I'm full time business guy and hockey watcher, you can say.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. All right, you already mentioned the players that you're friends with and buddies with from the past, and a few of them play in the show. So spill the beans. Your NHL-bound friends in the sport.
Yeah, I got a couple. I go on a golf trip every year with like Seamus Casey and Gavin Brindley, and they're younger guys, but they're coming up. Also played for Michigan. We have a huge golf group. We go to Pinehurst every year, so it's pretty fun to go with them. And
that's a serious course, of course.
Yeah,
PGA
serious course.
Majors. Yep.
So my former classmate, he has a house on hole 7 or something, so it's crazy. We go out there every single year and play 4 or 5 rounds and just have fun. But yeah, I mean, I got there as a freshman. I was on a team with Josh Norris and Quinn Hughes, just two studs in the NHL. There, obviously, Quinn Hughes winning the Norris Trophy, and Josh Norris, injury issues, but he's just a stud. He's so good. He's good at, whenever he's healthy, he's just one of the best players on the ice. And just learning from them, it was pretty special. And funny story, actually, my first practice, I was playing right wing, and Quinn Hughes is left D, and I think I chased him around the D zone for a minute and 30 seconds. I was throwing up in the garbage after the shift.
And there was no chance you were catching him.
There was just no chance for me. It was kind of like my welcome to college moment. Was chasing him around for a minute and 30 seconds. So pretty funny there, but just two great guys. Still get beers with them all the time and hang out in the summer, and yeah, just great people and great players. So pretty special.
Did you know right away playing with guys like that hey, they're going to be in the NHL and they're going to be pretty good? Talking about Josh Norris and Quinn Hughes, or were you at the time saying it's possible, but I still need to see it first? Or could you tell right away just playing with them every day that hey, they're going to be big time at the next level?
Yeah, you could tell just the way they approached every day, just so dialed into hockey. Just like, what can I do to make myself better? We actually had Will Lockwood too, who had played some games for Florida as well, and he was really good too. He
with the Charlotte Checkers now, going to the
Calder Cup Finals. He's actually a captain there now. He's the same way. I mean, he's just so dialed into how can I be better? How can I make my teammates better? And yeah, those 3 guys were just. I mean, Quinn was younger than me, and I was looking up to him. So I mean, they're all special players and great people too. So yeah.
No doubt, great player. You're right. Josh, we just hope better health for Josh Norris, because that's been his issue. That's been his downfall, unfortunately, the last year or two. The injury bugs really bit him, unfortunately, multiple times. But hopefully that's not going to happen moving forward. And we know with Quinn Hughes, just, dynamic player, special talent. I think how about just one thing too, about he's obviously the captain of the Vancouver Canucks, and he's grown into being the leader and probably being more vocal. Did you see elements of that in him when you played?
he was pretty quiet when I was there. I mean, he was a freshman, sophomore when I was with him, and he was not too outspoken, but just so good. You know, he was allowed to talk because of how good he was. I mean, everyone listened when he did talk, and you know, you can pick up a lot of things from him off the ice too. He's just like a very hardworking player, and I'm not surprised he's the captain there in Vancouver. He probably deserves it.
We have one of the best chats, and certainly we think we got the best NHL betting show certainly on the planet. We have one of the best YouTube chats on the planet. Rich H is one of our favorites, our dearest friends, viewers, listeners of the show. He's a big Vancouver Canucks fan out there. He says, please tell me Quinn is happy playing in Vancouver. Now, you can't divulge exact private conversations, but there you go. He's hoping that Quinn's happy playing in Vancouver. And then someone retorts with, who is happy in Vancouver? So there you go. Yeah. I assume he's happy. I mean, there's pressure. There's pressure playing in the market.
When he tells me he's enjoying it, so
he is.
I mean, nothing bad to say about Vancouver from him.
There you go, Rich H. There you go. Rest easy, my friend. There you go, Rich H. You can be at a little more ease now after hearing that. Quinn's happy in Vancouver. I'll tell you who's happy after game 2, the Florida Panthers, because they tied this series up at a game apiece. And obviously it was I was talking with Jack about this before the show. I mean, I don't know if I've seen 2 better games to start a Stanley Cup final in my lifetime. And I've been watching the Stanley Cup final in hockey for over 30 years now. I have not seen better 2 games to start a series than this. You can't ask for better. The pace has been off the charts. There's been ebb and flow, back and forth, momentum swings. Both teams have taken turns carrying the play throughout the first 2 games of this series. It's had a little bit of everything. Great goals, outstanding saves, physicality, nastiness. There's definitely been a tone of these 2 teams are sick of each other playing now for the second year in a row in the Stanley Cup final. How do you not love this if you're a hockey fan? And it's the kind of first 2 games of this series that always have me bothered about the ratings that gets in the U.S. It really, because I know it's already going to be hurt even more by being on TNT instead of broadcast television. Like if it's on ABC, you're going to get more ratings. If it's on Fox, like it was in the 90s, you're going to get more ratings. But because it's on cable television, you know, that hurts the ratings that the Stanley Cup final gets in the U.S. But it's a damn shame that people may not tune in and miss out. And because it's Florida, a smaller market, not a traditional hockey market, and a Canadian team on the other side of it. So that's going to hurt the ratings too. But my gosh, if people are tuning out this Stanley Cup final for all those reasons I just mentioned, either they can't find TNT or True TV or Max, or it's because there's a small market team and a Canadian team. It doesn't resonate because there's no Blackhawks, no Rangers, Red Wings, you know, your big hockey markets. I get that, but you're just screwing yourself, in my opinion, out of watching just a epic final so far. Through the first 2 games. It's been spectacular hockey. What can you say? Edmonton in the first game, we talked about how third period and overtime they carried the play. But then I thought in the game 2, we obviously saw Florida have that really, really strong push midway through the game. And I thought we talked about how Florida got in trouble. They looked gassed. They looked tired. They didn't look themselves in the third period like themselves in the third period and overtime of game 1. But I thought in game 2, that third period that's going back to Florida hockey. They pretty much put the clamps down on the Edmonton Oilers for the majority of that third period, and it looked like they were going to hang on to that lead when, of course, the ageless wonder at 40 years old, this guy's game is still strong, Corey Perry, or Scory Perry, as we call him, tying it up 4-4. The building goes nuts there at Rogers Place. We go to overtime for a second straight game, and that's another regret of mine, not betting the draw. We love our draw bets. We've got the draw season shirt at the Ice Guys store, and I haven't even bet the draw yet. And of course, both games have gone to overtime. And shout out to Luke Adam. Luke Adam was on our preview show last week. He told us bet over 1.5 overtime games in the series, and it's already hit after the first 2 games. So great call by him on that. I thought in overtime, look, Edmonton had a decent amount of chances. Florida did as well. They had a great chance early where, it looked like it went, Skinner got a piece of it. It went to the side. It was lying right by the goalpost. Klingberg just cleared it away at the last second. But I thought the difference in game 2 for Florida was that in the third period and overtime of game 1, they were dominated. In the third period and overtime of game 2, they were, I think, the better team. They were kind of the team kind of carrying the play. And the fatigue issues that I was worried about, they didn't really show that much in the third period and overtime of game 2. And then, of course, it eventually got to the second overtime, and Brad Marchand on a breakaway ends it and ties the series at 1 for the Florida Panthers. And now we go back to Florida. Florida got a split in Edmonton. It's what they wanted. And now it's up to Edmonton to go down to Florida and get the split down there. What can you say about Brad Marchand? Mr. Big, I guess you could say, in the postseason once again for the Panthers. 2 goals in the victory on Friday night in game 2. Sam Bennett, what else is new? Scoring a goal. I know there's a few people that took Sam Bennett to get a point in every game in the series, and that's certainly off to a great start. And I'm actually pissed I didn't get in on that. I do have Sam Bennett over 1.5 goals in the series, though, which is cashed already. A lot of my series-long goal props, guys, with players have hit already. Bennett, Marchand, we're 1 away from Kane and Perry going over 1.5 goals for the series for Edmonton. So good start with a lot of the series-long player props. We hit the team total. That's what I love about the team totals, you guys. I've said it before. You can win your bet with a team total even if the team loses the game. And that's exactly what happened with Edmonton. We had Edmonton team total over 3, best bet for Friday on the show, and it hits even though they lose 5-4 in overtime. But a great series so far. I don't know how you follow it up with something as good or better in game 3 tonight, but certainly they'll try. And a good segue, too, before we get Perlo and Jack and Oscar, their thoughts on game 2 about our betcast tonight. We're looking forward to it. There it is on the screen tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, Game 3, Stanley Cup Final live betcast. And this one tonight is free for all. So you don't have to be a Patreon member to join for this one or tune in. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's invited for the Game 3 live betcast tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. DM or email me for a spot on the betcast, and we will send you the link for it before it begins. And then Thursday night will be the Game 4 live betcast for the Stanley Cup Final, which will be exclusive to our Patreon members. So if you want to join us on Thursday night for the betcast, you know how to do it. Sign up just $10 per month over at patreon.com/iceguys. Perlo, Game 2, Florida, tying it up.
Yeah, it was one hell of a game, that's for sure. No doubt about that. This series is going to keep either whatever side you're on the edge of your seat. In fact, I would say that even if you don't have any skin in the game, it'll keep you on the edge of your seat, the way it's going back and forth. You said a lot of great things about it. The one thing the few takes I took from it is, how the heck did Corey Perry score that goal? And my gosh, this guy at 40 years old, coming in clutch still at his age, like there's a magic about that guy. It's hard to put your finger on it. He never stops. He's such a smart player. If you watch him,
honestly, Perlo, why they had fewer concerns about Hyman's injury. It's look, they were devastated they were going to miss Hyman for this series, but they were confident that guys like Corey Perry and Evander Kane and Kapanen, guys like that, could have filled the void. And Perry's certainly at the top of the list of players that have done that.
Yeah, it just seems like this is you hear it all the time. It's sort of cliche, but it's true. There's characters come out in these situations like Corey Perry, and Marchand scores the OT. You can't get much more of a character than that. This is when it comes down to the characters and the character of each team, and they both have a lot of it. And it's showing up huge. One thing I did want to mention that I kind of thought was funny, I'm not really a post-game watch the interview guy usually, but I can't help it with this Florida team. And this Florida team is fantastic, whether it's Maurice putting out all of his things that he does or Marchand. Marchand was asked what happened on the overtime goal there? How did you manage to get that in? And he said, well, I think the goalie lost his timing when Bouchard, I think it was Bouchard, gave me a whack or a slash, and I had to pull over and go in between the legs. And you would hear that and you wouldn't think much about it. But if you know Marchand, basically what he just did, he blamed Bouchard for the goal. If he wouldn't have slashed me, I wouldn't have scored the goal. I just love the way every moment with Marchand has a purpose, whether he's talking after the game, before the game, or whatever he's doing in the game. It's characters like that bring championships, as far as I'm concerned. You gotta have them, and it's fun to watch on both sides, both teams using their edges as much as they possibly can with their skates and with their words. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no question. It's been, like I said, we can't ask for two better games to start the Stanley Cup final. Oscar, I know it's tricky. I know it's a little difficult. 2 a.m. local time. These games are starting. But my gosh, man, I hope you've been able to tune in to some of it at least.
I have. I've watched them both in replay, so the day after, because I care about my sleep. But yeah, I've just been putting on the day after. So especially, I mean, can't say anything that anyone else hasn't said about it. It's like probably the two best games to start a Stanley Cup final, maybe a series ever. As a goalie, I want to still say, even though it's a lot of goals, two good goalies, like they have played really well, especially Bobrovsky.
I don't think they played that bad. I agree, Skinner or Bobrovsky.
Yeah, I think especially last game, Bobrovsky came up with some really well-timed big saves before Marshy's scored the shorthanded, I think. So, which could have gone, like, because then I felt, like you said earlier, that Edmonton had the advantage. They were pushing a lot of good scoring chances, and then after that, Florida came back, and they for sure looked stronger in the end. But still, I think Bobrovsky did some good saves before Perry scored the 4-4 goal. So yeah, it's tough to say, but I'm enjoying watching it for sure. But it's tough picking odds and try to say what's going to happen in this series for sure.
Been absolutely sensational to watch. Jack, I know you've been into this series and loving every minute like every hockey fan. Your thoughts on the game 2 and the series overall to this point?
Yeah, it's been just a special series. It's been crazy to watch, back and forth, super high pace. See if it slows down tonight. I mean, it's hard to say whether it will or won't, but I think at some point, under's got to hit, like we talked about earlier. Just two incredible teams. Panthers adding Seth Jones and Brad Marchand has just proven to be pivotal. I mean, I was kind of against the Seth Jones ad, and I owe that guy a huge apology. He's been incredible for that team. I think he's leading their team in ice time. He's played 33 minutes a night so far in these first two games, and just been special on that back end. I mean, he's not scoring per se, but he's just been very, very solid and playing plus minutes and playing big time role for that team. And I didn't see that out of him when they added him, but I mean, he's been very good for them. Marchand doing his thing. He's scoring goals. He's making plays. He's playing fearless. He's antagonizing. He's doing just what he does essentially. And Edmonton, I mean, that goal that Draisaitl scored where McDavid went around Barkov and Ekblad, and that's one of the best goals I've ever seen. I mean, it's just special talent there. The rest of this year should be great. I see it going 7, honestly. It's just gonna be back and forth. I think the rest of the way, and it's gonna be very fun to watch. Pretty interesting here to say neither team has a shutout yet in the postseason. So do we see one? I don't know. I mean, based off the first 2 games, probably not. But yeah, I mean the goalies are playing great, just haven't gotten a shutout yet. So we'll see what happens. Wait a minute. Edmonton had one, didn't they? They did. Yeah, they had one against Dallas. They had one against Vegas. Oh, they did. Never mind. Okay, they did. Edmonton has had a couple. Florida, I'm not so. Yeah, Florida. Actually, Florida, I don't think they've had one. Let me just double check. No, they did. 2-0 against Toronto in game 4 of that series, and 2-0 against. So they have had a couple. This series, there's been no shutouts so far to this point. Overtime again, says Russell Deck. Well, look, if you've been betting the draw in the first 2 games, I wouldn't talk you out of game 3. But one of these games is going to finish in regulation. Not every game in this series is going to go to overtime. But let's get into it. Game 3 of this Stanley Cup final. Edmonton Oilers, Florida Panthers. Now the scene shifting to
Amarant Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida for tonight. Florida minus 145, home favorites, 6.5 being the total here in this game. Series tied at a game apiece. So we obviously Florida, it's been a zigzag series. Edmonton game 1, Florida game 2. I think Edmonton's going to split in Florida. It's a question of do they get game 3 tonight or are they going to get game 4 in Florida? I think it's just going to be that kind of series. It's going to be back and forth. So I've got a very simplistic approach here for game 3. I'm going to bet Edmonton tonight. You can get plus 125, plus 130 here in this spot. And if they lose tonight in game 3, I'm probably going to step my wager amount up a bit in game 4 with Edmonton because I see them splitting. I do. I think we're going back to Edmonton, probably 2-2. Could Edmonton win both games in Florida? Yes. Could Florida win both games at home and go up 3-1? Certainly they could, but I think it's just going to be one of those back and forth series. We're talking about 2 games that have been decided by 1 goal that have gone to overtime. The margins are like this right now between these 2 teams. So that's the way I'm approaching it. I certainly think there's value in this number and in this price with Edmonton. And I know there's been some reaction, to the possibility that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the Nuge, may not suit up tonight in game 3. He's a game time decision because this line has actually moved toward Florida a little bit. The Panthers open minus 140 and it's trickled up to, minus 145, minus 150 in most spots. I think maybe that's part of it. The Nugent-Hopkins news. Jeff Skinner would take his spot if he doesn't play here tonight in this game for the Edmonton Oilers. And the other change for Florida is AJ Greer, who has been a bit banged up to start this series, will make his first appearance in the series tonight. He'll come into the lineup on the 4th line and replace Jesper Boquist. And that will reunite a line that Paul Maurice put together in the 2nd round against Toronto and really help flip that series, putting together AJ Greer, Tomasz Nosek, and Jonah Gadjevich as his 4th line. And that line has just been hitting everything in sight. They've been ultra physical, and they have certainly done their share of damage, no question, physically. And that's what he's going to look for them here tonight. Paul Maurice was asked today by the, what's funny? The guy that asked him the question about Barkov struggling offensively in this series and not having a point in the first 2 games, he was definitely from Finland because I heard the accent. He was Finnish. Like, my goodness, you're throwing your own countrymen under the bus here and asking Paul Maurice a question like that. But what's wrong with his offense? And Paul Maurice with a classic Paul Maurice response. Yeah, we're trading him. So, yeah. Just great. And so exactly what you expect from Paul Maurice responding like that with a quip to the struggles of Barkov. Obviously, look, Barkov's done a lot of good things. I'll say this, though. Barkov was on the ice for a couple of the goals that Edmonton scored in this series. And you think of the Bouchard goal the last game, it was kind of a bad break, right? Barkov blocks the shot. It ricochets right back to Bouchard. And, of course, he's in the lane, blocks the shot, comes right back to Bouchard, and Bouchard fires it through a screened Sergei Bobrovsky. That was kind of a bad break for Barkov on that one. But like I said, Barkov has not been at his shutdown defensive best. There have been some shifts where Edmonton's kind of gotten the better of him at times. You'd expect him, though, to play a little bit better here. You're at home. Paul Maurice going to get the last line change, opportunity to match up a little bit better. And maybe being at home is going to be the spark that gets that line going offensively. Verhaeghe with that Verhaeghe and Barkov line, which, to be honest, other than, was pretty quiet in game 2 the other night. For the Florida Panthers. So that's going to be interesting to see if they can get things going, because really the line that stole the show for Florida in game 2 was the 3rd line, who we've talked about so much in these playoffs about how much of an impact they've made. But, there was at least a point in every a point for Lundell, E2, Kuhlman, Luostarinen, and Brad Marchand, that 3rd line. They all got a point in game 2. And they were absolutely tremendous for the Florida Panthers. Tonight could be a night with the last line change and home ice advantage. This could be the night that Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Reinhart have their explosion, potentially. I'm just throwing it out there because, Reinhart's been quiet. I agree with Chrono Kenny in our chat. Verhaeghe's been a little bit quiet so far. This feels like a spot where they could spring to life a little bit because, again, Paul Maurice is going to be able to deploy them in theory, in matchups that are going to be advantageous here tonight for the Florida Panthers. So that I do think so. And the one thing about Reinhart, before we talk about how sluggish the series has gone for him so far in the first 2 games, it's not like he hasn't generated. It's not like he hasn't had chances. I know no points in the first 2 games in Edmonton, but 9 shots on goal in the 2 games combined and 6 shots on goal for Sam Reinhart in game 2 alone. So if normally, what I'm like with player props. I don't love betting the players that are cold and haven't shown you, that they can get on the board. But this could be one of those instances where with a guy like Sam Reinhart, I might be willing to say, you know what? I know he's not gotten a point, not registered a point yet in this series, but this could be the time to buy low and buy some Sam Reinhart stock tonight, potentially, because it's certainly he's had the chances. If you look at the the websites that show you the expected goals, individual chances as well, you'll see that Sam Reinhart certainly has had good looks, quality chances in both games so far in this series for the Florida Panthers. I mean, if you go back to game 2, I'm looking at expected goals in all situations. Florida was led by Brad Marchand at 1.02 expected goals in game 2. And of course, he had 2 goals. So it makes perfect sense, that Brad Marchand was the leader in expected goals for Florida because he had 2 goals. But right behind him in expected goals in game 2 for Florida was Sam Reinhart, 0.69. He had a bunch of good chances for the Florida Panthers. So it kind of feels like there's going to be an offensive. He's going to be heard from offensively at some point, Sam Reinhart. Just going to be a question of when, not if. Sam Bennett's been great, of course. He continues to be in there in the expected goals leaders for the Florida Panthers so far in this series. Lundell, pretty solid. We've talked about Luostarinen as well. Verhaeghe probably can pick it up a little bit, but certainly on home ice, there's a good chance he does. I think he's done most of his damage at home, more so than on the road in this year's playoffs as well. Carter Verhaeghe, so something to keep in mind. For the Edmonton Oilers in game 2, Connor McDavid and Corey Perry both had 1 expected goal. Evan Bouchard, 0.65 expected goals. Trent Frederick, Jimmy Murphy keeps waiting for him to score and keeps saying he's going to score. I don't know if he will because he's not a great finisher, obviously. But if you look at expected goals, Trent Frederick's had chances. He's had looks. He's had opportunities to put the puck in the net. It just hasn't gone in for him yet, but he's certainly gotten the looks. So maybe you could look in that direction. Maybe Trent Frederick, if you're looking for a longer shot. Henrique has been there as well, 0.47 expected goals in game 2. But anyway, the props that I like the most tonight, I would say I'm going to attempt a Verhaeghe, Barkov, Reinhart point stack tonight. I'm going to, because I just think there's too many things that kind of line up that these guys are going to get going. And on home ice with last line change, it's the optimal situation for Florida to get the most out of their top line and get them in matchups that'll work for Florida. So I don't mind looking at Verhaeghe, Barkov, Reinhart point stack. So each of them to get a point, you put them in a same game parlay, you get a nice plus price on that. Something to consider here. Rodriguez, I think, whether it's goal or assist, especially assist, I think he's been impactful in this series. There's no doubt. And I can't talk anyone out of anything from the third line with how dynamic they continue to be for the Panthers. Kuhlman, Luostarinen, Anton Lundell, and Brad Marchand. And then for Edmonton, I'm going back to the well with the regulars. I'm not changing it up. Corey Perry, Kasperi Kapanen, Evander Kane. Those are the players I'm really going to look toward the most. Maybe because Henrique and Frederick have had some decent looks. Maybe we'll dabble in them. But I'm going to stick mostly to Perry, Kapanen, and Kane. That trio, which I think is tremendously undervalued for the Edmonton Oilers as far as goal props. So I like Edmonton. I'm going to take them tonight, and if they lose tonight, I'll be back on them probably for a bigger stake in game 4. The total. We have to talk about the total because, look, it's been first period over, full game over, and it hasn't even been close in the first 2 games. Like easy first period over winners, easy full game over winners the first 2 games. And it makes you think with the pace we've seen, how the hell do we bet an under right now? But you're talking about the long flight, Edmonton to Florida, the extra day off. The ice conditions from all reports are not great in Florida. It's humid as fuck down there in Sunrise, Florida right now. And you got to think after these extreme pace games and these back and forths that we've seen in Edmonton that things slow down. And then there's the numbers that back it up, that the games in Florida this year in the playoffs for the Panthers have been lower scoring, less goals per game on average for Florida home playoff games compared to Florida road playoff games, where there's been a big spike as far as goals per game are concerned. I'm just scared as hell to pull the trigger on the under. That's the problem. I get conceptually why the under makes sense here, why it should be and could be a lower scoring game. It's just very difficult based on the pace that I've seen. Can you guarantee to me before puck drop tonight that this pace is going to slow down? Because if this pace does not slow down, it's been a mad overpace, unless we're going to see a little bit tighter checking, unless we're going to see more conservatives play with the puck, unless we're going to see these teams really, really commit to less odd man rushes and trading of scoring chances. It's dangerous. But the people that love the under tonight, I get it. I'm staying off the total pregame. I'm totally staying off the total pregame. I want to wait and see how this game starts. We have the betcast tonight too, and a lot of you will be on the betcast joining us tonight. Let's see how the pace looks in the first period, right? They drop the puck. Let's see what it looks like. If it looks like a slower pace, maybe we can live bet the under. If it looks like they're flying up and down again like they did in the first two games where it flew over the total in both the first period and the full game, then maybe I'll look at a live over. But again, I'm going to wait, see what that pace and the style looks like here to begin game 3, especially knowing we have the betcast tonight during the game. So that's my approach for game 3. Perla, we'll start with you. Game 3, Oilers-Panthers.
Okay, well, we're kind of on a different angle here a little bit. I agree that Florida does get the matchup here, but I just don't think they're going to be using Barkov to get more offense out of him. The matchup that he's going to have is that he's got an opportunity to go up against McDavid. In Edmonton, he more played against Draisaitl than he did McDavid because they were keeping McDavid away from him. And Draisaitl on the second game only had 2 shots on goal in regulation. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's Barkov. As far as this point production, this guy has been given the challenge of his lifetime here. His goal is to shut down 2 players. And it's not just him. Reinhart is amazing too. In fact, the whole team, as I've already mentioned in the show,
go shut down 2 of the best offensive talents in the world. Go for it.
Exactly. Yeah. So if I'm, like Maurice said, I'm going to trade him tomorrow. That's his job here more than anything. How many points Barkov gets in this series is irrelevant. The fact that he does get points is amazing that he can do what he do and go up against those guys and get points at the same time. So I'm actually looking more in the lower lines with Bennett, and I think they're going to use those more to match up with what is a weaker depth in Edmonton.
How do you not keep betting Sam Bennett right now, right? How do you not keep betting Sam Bennett right now to do something?
Yeah. Especially with Hopkins. Now, going back to game 2 and in Edmonton, this is what I saw, and this is what I kind of thought when the series started. Edmonton is extremely difficult, maybe impossible to shut down at top pace. Like when they're at top pace, even Barkov, it doesn't matter. Like this is probably the best shutdown team in the league by far, as far as I'm concerned, and they can't handle it. The problem is it's not human to keep up that pace. And as soon as the pace slows down, Florida is like a boa constrictor, and they'll start playing man on man. Did you notice them playing exactly like Carolina plays for stretches, and that they start playing man on man when the pace slows down and they smother the crap out of you? And then you get Corey Perry doing what he did. But that's besides that play, they really kept them down to very little. And I think that's more or less what we're going to see here. The first period, I could see Edmonton winning the first period. I kind of like Edmonton in the first period. First of all, like you mentioned, the ice. It's warm, yes, and I don't think anybody in Florida is instructing those ice guys to have great ice in Florida today, because if pace is what's going to kill them, good ice is also is not what you want. So I think you're going to see a very slow pace. Try to slow down the Edmonton Oilers as much as possible. Of course, in the first period, especially the first 10 minutes, the ice is going to be at its best it can be. So I like a goal in the first 10. That I do. I like that play. I like that play. I'm leaning to the over first period, and I'm leaning to both teams to score. Then, because we're doing a bet cast tonight, then I'm going to bet an under. Then I like the under as the ice starts to get rattled and stuff like that, and Florida gets to be in their element. The thing, and the reason why I took Florida for this series, and unlike you guys, I don't think this is going 7. I think Florida's winning in 5 or 6. And the reason why that is because Edmonton, it's inhuman to me for any team to play at the pace they need to beat Florida on a regular basis. It's inevitable that it's going to slow down. And I think Florida is a heavily favored team when it comes to slowing down. What I also love about Florida is they seem to just have the zen at what pace they need to play to have energy right to the end all the time. And that with the level of confidence that they have and their ability to change their system all through the game, I think that they're going to swallow the Oilers up here and probably win in 6. So in this game, I have Florida. Yes, I'm not as confident on this game as I am the next one. The next one I'll be on Florida, win or lose, doesn't matter. But this one, I'm not as confident. I think Edmonton, because they got the 2 days rest, they're going to be able to go to max pace as much as they possibly can. However, I do think that ice surface means a lot. And if they don't have that ice surface and they can't pass around like they can, like they're amazing at it, they don't have that advantage and the puck starts bouncing, totally Florida's way. So I've got Florida money line. I've got Florida team total over 3. I got that at -155. My Florida money line, I got at -135 before the Hopkins news. So I already took that. I'm going to sprinkle on both teams to score in the first period and the first period over. And I'm going to live bet the under tonight. I think is going to be a great live betting game. And it's just awesome that we're having the bet cast. Anybody who's not, you don't need to be a Patreon member for this one. Come in, make your money, have fun, because I think there's going to be a lot of fun and money to be made tonight on the bet cast. And I'm also going to do that play. And I actually messed up on this one. I've been making money at it, and I didn't even know that I could have got killed. And I did get killed the last time. At BetMGM, you can take both teams to score in regulation and one team to win. Now, the way it's worded, it sounds like it's a money line, but it's not. It has to be in regulation. So it has to be in
both
regulation.
Teams to score in regulation, the team to win in regulation.
In regulation. So I'm taking that.
This series, especially because we've had 2 overtime games so far.
Yeah, right? Well, it was the first time I lost that in the playoffs because it went to overtime, and I had a person that I'm giving picks to message me say, "We lost that bet." I'm like, "What?" So I just found it in the playoffs here, and it was the first time it happened. So now make sure you're doing that. I think Florida could win this in regulation. So I'm taking that because you're getting a better price than just taking Florida in regulation. And I'm pretty positive this isn't going to be a shutout. So I'm going to go, I'm going to take that bet as well. As far as props are concerned, I liked all the props you said. I really like Corey Perry over 1.5 shots. This is a premium shot prop for all of you. Corey Perry over 1.5 shots. It's been hitting every single game. The guy's up on the top line. For him not to get 2 shots is pretty difficult. So that's a premium shot prop for all of you.
Pretty straightforward. I know Jack, first time on the show, but this is the theory we always go with. When we see the player up in the lineup, player that's not used to being on the top line or the second line, that's when you pounce on their player props. Goal prop, assist prop, points prop, shots on goal. They're going to get more ice time. They're going to play in more situations, more ice time, power play opportunity, all that. So your Corey Perry analysis is right in line, Perlo, with all of that. There's no question on why his props are probably worth a look here tonight. And you mentioned it with the goal in the first 10 minutes and both teams to score in the first period and over 1.5 in the first period. All those bets have hit in the first 2 games. The question is, are they going to hit once again here tonight as the scene shifts down to Florida? Oscar, what do you think here for Game 3?
First of all, good to hear that it's going to be great to live bet on the game for you guys who live in the right time zone. So, it's going to be tougher for me. Yeah. No, like what you both guys said. You had some really good points, even though you said the opposite things. But I like the. I don't think it's like, as you said, not every game is gonna go to overtime, which I like the odds and the chance to take Panthers regulation. And then also, like you said about Reinhardt, he has like, especially that breakaway he had game 2, even though he shot it terribly, aimed, felt like he hit the corner of the boards instead of the net, which I kind of thinking like, if he has some kind of injury that he's playing with that affects his aim or his shot. But as you said, he still gets so many chances, it feels like. So eventually, like, a scorer's got to score. And I think that it's a great time to take it right now when you get him for a good price, when it hasn't, obviously, -3. I think that's the only thing he has accomplished this series. I mean, Nate Schmidt's been pretty hot, surprisingly. If you can get that to good odds, I like that. So I put a small amount on that just because it would be fun if he keeps going. Bouchard, I think he has like racked up 15 shots on goal this series. So Bouchard with over 2.5 shots, pretty good if you can.
No argument here on that. Like, he's been shooting the puck from everywhere. And now this is on the road now, but I certainly wouldn't bet under his shots on goal over or nothing. I agree.
Yeah, and then with the the over of the total goal score, I looked up that it was like the 8th time it's over 6 in the last 9 games played head to head between the Oilers and the Panthers. Yeah. I hope that line is correct, but that's what I heard and looked up. And I think with a day's extra rest, I think that like you said earlier, they're gonna be a pretty high intensity and good speed in the first period right away. So it could be pretty similar to like the first period in game 2. Maybe not that many goals right away, but still, like, I still feel the over, and they have scored a lot. Obviously, I like also Bennett. I'm gonna go back to him later with the long shot odds, but he's been hot and he's played with so much confidence right now. Like, you could tell that he has. I mean, I hope he stays with Florida because he's such a perfect fit there. But
he should. I agree with that. Totally.
It'll be fun to see what that cap hit can go up to, because I think that which team do not want him in the lineup, especially a team like maybe, let's say, Toronto, that kind of aims to take that next step. Like,
that's right. A lot of people would want Sam Bennett.
Exactly. So, but yeah, that's what I got. I think Panthers But I like the idea that you had, but I'm hoping to get the Panthers tonight and then get the Oilers next game, because I also believe it's going to be a split here. But and also the over 6 and Bouchard over 2.5 shots and Reinhardt anytime goal scorer. Like, that's the 4 I'm going with right now. And then we'll see if Nate Schmidt can sneeze his way into that. But yeah, that's what I got.
Good stuff. Great analysis from Oscar. Evan Bouchard's had 8 and 7 shots on goal in the first 2 games. Now, I don't expect him to have that many tonight. It's on the road, but it's still 2.5. All he needs is 3. And I think in this series, and the reason why Bouchard's shots on goal numbers have surged in the first 2 games of this series is because I think there's an onus for Edmonton. Shoot the puck from anywhere. There's no such thing as a bad shot attempt. Shoot it from anywhere, blast it from the point, especially when a guy like Bouchard's got that cannon that he's got, and see if you get a bounce, it hits something, you get a deflection. And that, I think, is a big component of why Evan Bouchard is shooting the puck so much, because of who they're playing. And they make it very difficult on you, Florida. So shoot that puck from the blue line. Open things up, the low to high game. And Bouchard, and I think that's a big reason why he's shooting the puck a lot more. Jack, what do you think here for game 3 tonight, Oilers-Panthers? Jack is going to be the brave man that makes the case for the under, so go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep this pretty simple. The bad ice it's very hard to pass the puck around crisply and to shoot on bad ice. So I think that slows the power plays down. They haven't been great as it is, but I think they continue to stay quiet. And I'm on the under 7 at -185. I believe it's jumped up a little bit, but I took under 7. I don't see 8 goals in this game tonight. I mean, 7. A push is fine. I don't see.
You're willing to lay -185 just for the security of 7. Okay,
I don't like laying juice, but I don't see 8 goals tonight, and 4-3 can happen. So I'm on the under 7 tonight personally. I'm also on Matthew Tkachuk to score a goal. He hasn't scored yet in the series. Bad ice is great for his game. He loves to rough it up and get in the paint and score greasy ones. So I'm on Matthew Tkachuk to score a goal tonight. I also took Matthew Tkachuk to score the first goal tonight. I think that was 15-1. Tkachuk to score the first goal of the game, and that's it for me. I have those 3 bets, and that's it. But I don't see 8 goals on this bad ice, and if these goalies can just play solid, it's going to be tough to hit that number, I think.
He's also very disciplined in lower volume. Like Jack's not one of these guys. He's the anti-Ian Cameron, basically. I'm peppering the board here with this prop, that prop, this side, this total, this team total, this first period bet, this third period bet. And here's Jack. He comes on here. I like the under. I like Tkachuk to score a goal, and I like Tkachuk first goal score sprinkle. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm also with you on. I'm going to bet whoever loses tonight in Game 4. So if Florida wins tonight, I'm on Edmonton heavy Game 4. If Edmonton wins tonight, I'll be back in Florida Game 4. I think this is 2-2 going back to Edmonton for Game 5.
There you go. Sometimes discipline's the way to go. And Jack just gave you an illustration there. That's his approach there. But great stuff as far as Game 3 is concerned. Now, I know, Jack, we're going to try to get him he's going to run in a couple minutes, just because I know he's still got a lot of work to do today on this Monday. So what we'll do is Perlo, Oscar, and I will stick around for Bargain Bin Special, Best Bet segment. Jack will do the Bargain Bin Special of the night and Best Bet for you right now so that, you can take off if you need to get back to work. So Bargain Bin Special of the night, Jack. Obviously, you've only got 3 bets, so I guess by default, I think I know what your Bargain Bin Special of the night is. But the Bargain Bin is your favorite player prop or your favorite bet of plus 300 odds or better is what the Bargain Bin Special of the night segment is. And obviously, I would assume, Jack, that you want to rock with Matthew Tkachuk first goal scorer at 15-1 plus 1,500 for Bargain Bin Special tonight. Is that correct?
Yep. I'm not sure what Matthew Tkachuk power play point is, but that's also, getting one in the crease greasily. I see that too. So look that up for me. What his power play point over 0.5 is. Should be right around.
You might want to use that instead. Okay, let me just double check because I'm sure it will be. It will be, but I'll definitely take a look at the power play point. It is. Let me just see here. No, it won't be. No, actually, it's only plus 165.
Okay. We'll stick to Matthew Tkachuk first goal scorer tonight.
There you go. Matthew Tkachuk first goal score, 15-1. There you have it for Bargain Bin Special of the night. And now Jack's first best bet on the show, with this being, of course, his debut show. So, Jack, obviously you only have a few bets going, but only one of them can be your best bet. So what do you got for best bet?
We'll go with the under. I like the under tonight. Obviously 6.5 is a number. I'm on 7, but it's up to you. I like both, honestly. I think this game is a 3-2, 3-1 type game. Bad ice. I think this game is going to be under.
All right, there we go. The under. I applaud the being brave. I applaud, putting your foot down and saying that's enough of this 5-4, 6-5. Get this track meet bullshit out of here. We're getting back to playing tight, conservative, better defensive hockey. Enough with the odd man rushes. That's another thing too about the first 2 games and the pace in Edmonton. The odd man rushes were insane. Breakaways. Like, how many breakaways did these 2 teams have in the first 2 games? How many odd man rushes did they have? It was just incredible they had that many. But Jack says tonight we're going to get to a bit of a lower scoring Game 3. So under 7, minus 185. If you don't want to lay that price, you can go under 6.5, minus 125 instead. But the under in Game 3 for Edmonton and Florida for Jack Olmstead with his best bet for tonight. Jack, we know we will let you get back to work because you said you wanted to be out within the hour. But again, we got the betcast tonight. Jack said he might be interested in joining us for a bit during the live betcast tonight. So, Jack, you're welcome to join us. 8 p.m. Eastern it'll start. We'll be on for the whole game. So anytime you want to join us for at least a portion of the game during the betcast tonight, you're welcome to. So great to have you on. Great debut. And we'll definitely get you back on the show moving forward.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That was awesome. Appreciate it.
There we go. Jack Olmstead with us. Appreciate him joining us here for the Ice Guys show today. He takes his sports betting very seriously. Like, he's like 2 plays, 3 plays in a particular sport and really do the, narrow in on things. And like I say, it's the anti way. Like, for me, that approach I don't think would be best for me, but I get why it's best for other people. It's just, lower volume, being selective. I found I operated that way as a better being selective, and too often I was going 0-2, 1-2, and I was leaving too many winners on the board and on the table. And that's when I said, you know what? Probably a high volume approach and system is the way that would work best for me. And it is. And that's why I've stuck with that. But like I say, everybody's got a different way of going about it. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. A reminder, we've got the live betcast tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. Make sure you join us 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. It's a free betcast available to everybody, although Patreon members do get priority. So if we reach capacity, we'll boot one of the non-Patreon members out to get a Patreon member in if they want to join. So again, make sure you join us, though, tonight. DM or email me for a spot on the betcast, and we'll send you the link before it begins tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. And our Game 4 live betcast, Patreon only, Patreon exclusive, Thursday night for Game 4. For that one, make sure you sign up. $10 per month, patreon.com/iceguys. You'll get our Stanley Cup Final betting card for the remaining days of this series. But we've also introduced, starting this weekend, daily sports betting card for all the days there is no Stanley Cup Final game, and also every day when there's, after the NHL season ends, we will have a sports betting card posted. My bets in baseball, football, CFL, other sports. Alex will pop in and drop some UFC and boxing bets throughout the summer. Anything we're betting during the NHL offseason, we'll be posting it on the Patreon page. So it's a good reason to stick around if you want to keep your subscription and memberships active during the summer months and the off season, that we'll be doing that, posting the daily sports betting card. So $10 per month. Make sure you sign up. Your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it rolling long term. $10 per month. Patreon.com/iceguys. And make sure you check out the Ice Guys store as well. Get your gear and your merch for the summer at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Support for the Ice Guys podcast is provided by Boston Hemp Incorporated, Tailgaters Social, and a big thank you to all that subscribe to the Ice Guys Patreon page.
Hey, Alex, have you checked out the latest with the great trading platform Kalshi?
Yes, I have. It's been fantastic. This is one of the first and only federally regulated prediction markets in the U.S. And if you're looking for odds for all kinds of different things, not just what we're talking about, the markets in the Stanley Cup, the NBA Finals, you can trade with crypto. You can look for trades within the markets involving entertainment, politics. There's all kinds of different markets you can look for. I mean, you can use the odds over at Kalshi.
Time of year to get involved with Kalshi. Certainly if you're a sports fan, Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA playoffs, baseball now underway, with all the different markets to create winning trades. Make sure you're checking out all that Kalshi has to offer.
Absolutely. And if you're trading with Kalshi, use the link kalshi.com/iceguys. You trade $100 or more, they will send you $10 back. So it's fantastic to use. Like I said, any kind of markets beyond sports. We're talking entertainment, politics, crypto, basically anything you want.
So make sure you sign up, Kalshi.com/Ice Guys. Note that it's live on Robinhood and available in all 50 states, making it the first legal place to trade on these kind of events nationwide. Check it out, Kalshi.com/Ice Guys. Shout out to all our great sponsors, Boston Hemp Inc., 20% off using the promo code Ice Guys, and Kalshi.com/Ice Guys. Check out that great trading platform. All right, bargain bin special of the night. We are going to go right to Oscar Froberg. He's got to run. It's getting late, and he's got some things to do. So we'll go right to Oscar with bargain bin special and best bet, and then we'll get him on his way. Oscar, bargain bin special, what do you got?
As I said earlier, Sam Bennett looks confident. He had 2 points. I actually think he had 2 goals the first game, but had 1 point last game. So I had 2 points from Sam Bennett, 4.10 times the money. So that's my bargain bin special.
There you go, Sam Bennett. Why not? With how he's been riding that hot wave right here in the series so far. For the Florida Panthers. Sam Bennett for Oscar Froberg, over 1.5 points for Sam Bennett here in Game 3 for Oscar with his bargain bin special of the night. You can get that in the plus 330 to plus 380 range, depending on which book. So Sam Bennett over 1.5 points for Oscar with his bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bet for Oscar. What do you got?
Tough, as I said earlier, but I actually going to choose. I like what Perlo said about Florida tonight. I think it's going to be an advantage to that they can play Barco against McDavid, and I think they're going to put a little bit more relaxed since they did the split with some confidence and extra day rest. So it's kind of risky, but I'm still going Panthers regulation, just like that.
All right, Florida. There we go. Get the Panther sound going. Florida in regulation for Oscar Froberg with his best bet for the Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. Oscar, this is probably going to be your last appearance on the show before we wrap up the season, but it's been great meeting you. It's been great getting you in the rotation here on the show during the playoffs, and we wish you nothing but the absolute best, and I'm sure we'll see you again many times next season.
Thank you. I hope so. It's been a pleasure, getting to know you guys, and great comments. The Nylander lookalike, I will take that with me during the summer with great confidence.
Someone now says you look like Harry Kane, the soccer player, too. So you're getting compared to everybody.
Yeah, but Harry Kane is not that good looking as Nylander. So I'll try to forget the last one. But no, thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure. So good luck. I hope everyone earns their money tonight. So, have a good summer.
Good stuff. All right, Oscar, appreciate it very much. We'll see you again down the road.
See ya.
There he is, Oscar Froberg. Great stuff. Great to have him in the rotation here during the Stanley Cup playoffs. All right, bargain bin special of the night for Perlo. What do you got?
Well, I think Oscar and I share the same brain. I swear to God, we're like
you're on Bennett over 1.5. I can't.
I had the very same, and the last time we did the show together, we had the exact same thing for best bet and for. So I kind of stretched it. So I also liked. I also love what the Kachuk angle too with that ice. But I'm going to go down the lineup a little bit and go with Luosterainen. I think you can get him at like plus 1,000 right now, and there's something like in a couple books. I think he's got a good chance to put up something because I like the lower lines. And I am going to do this. Oh, first of all, before I go, because I always forget to do this. Head over to Perlo's NHL POW. I do spaces, and I have my own show I'm doing on YouTube now, and we're having a lot of fun with it. If you like doing the betcast, we do live betting and all that kind of stuff like that, and we're going to have a lot of summer stuff. So head over there and do that. And also, while you're doing it, I'm going to do it for what's turning out to be a very good, turning out to be a friend of mine, for Jimmy Murphy, and check out his show, him and his show, The Eye Test. It is an excellent. If you're a hockey geek, it's a fantastic podcast. So in his honor, I'm going to take Frederick we'll get it this time. This is the one. This is the one we're going to get it for the Oilers. I'm going to take Frederick for him. Oh, Pierre McGuire. Can't forget Pierre McGuire, too.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Jimmy and Pierre. That's right. Our good friend. Of course, Jimmy Murphy, long time. He was on this show as a regular. He was on every day with us a few years ago on the show. But again, just, other duties took over. Yep. Just couldn't commit to it anymore. But yeah, Jimmy, always a friend of ours. There you go, Trent Frederick riding the Jimmy Murphy wave there with that bargain special of the night. I'm going to go with one for each team, which I always do. And so for Florida, for bargain bin special, I'm going with Erod, Evan Rodriguez, plus 425 at Bet3. Not as much a goal scorer sometimes as a playmaker, but I think I could see him on home ice chipping in offensively because I remember him scoring a lot of home playoff goals last year, especially in the run to the Stanley Cup. So Evan Rodriguez plus 425 for Florida. And anytime he's 300 or better, he's worthy of being used as bargain bin. Corey Perry plus 325 at Bet365. So there you go. Corey Perry, Evan Rodriguez for me with bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets for game 3. Perlo, what do you like for best bet?
Like I said, he shares the same brain at Florida in regulation, but I'll give you another one anyways. I already mentioned it earlier. It's a premium prop. And if you want all my props again, go over and I'll be posting them. And I post parlays just before game time as well. But I'm going to take Corey Perry over 1.5 shots. So we can get the over 1.5 shots and we can get the goal, get everything. So I'll take Perry over 1.5 shots is my best bet to go with the in regulation with Oscar there.
All right, my best bet, little head-to-head with the couple. No, it's a Stanley Cup final. It's a close series. It's a hard-fought series. The margins are slim. The margins are thin. You're going to have some disagreement. I'm on Edmonton money line here, and if I don't win it with it tonight, I'm probably taking it in Game 4 because I think it's a split, and I think we're going back to Edmonton either way, 2-2 for Game 5 over the weekend. But I will take my chances tonight. It's been a zigzag series so far. The losing team has bounced back and won the next game. And I will take a chance. And I think the day off, not that it won't help Florida, but I think it is good for Edmonton as well, because then they can, with the pace they play at, that extra day does help. And like I said, I think it's a back and forth series. So plus 130, the best price out there for the Edmonton Oilers. We'll go with that for best bet for the Game 3 of the Stanley Cup final. And a reminder to everybody, we've got our live betcast tonight for Game 3, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you join us. Again, this is a free-for-all betcast. It's our last free-for-all betcast of this season. So it's your last chance to dance, if you will. Last chance to join us, because any remaining betcasts after tonight will be Patreon only. So this is our last free betcast of the season for Game 3 tonight. So make sure you're there for it, 8 p.m. Eastern, and send me a DM or email, and we'll send you the link for the betcast before it begins. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live every game day during the Stanley Cup final. And if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Perlo, Oscar Froberg, and Jack Olmstead, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday, and we'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for the Game 3 Stanley Cup final live betcast. And our next daily show will be Thursday at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for Game 4 right here on the Ice Guys.